Gordon goes foreign. Lots of people travel to the big station at the end of the line. Engines from the other railway sometimes pull their trains. These engines stay the night and go home next day. Gordon was talking one day to one of these. "I remember going to London," he said. "Do you know the place? The station's called King's Cross." "King's Cross? London's Euston," snorted Spencer. "Rubbish. London's Paddington," said Duck. They were still arguing when Spencer went away. "Stupid thing," said Gordon crossly. "Stupid yourself," said Duck. "London's Paddington. Do you hear?" "Stop arguing," wheezed Edward. "You make me tired." "I've no patience," grunted Gordon. Gordon rolled away, still grumbling. "I'm sure it's King's Cross. I'll go and prove it." But that was easier said than done. London lay beyond the big station at the other end of the line. Gordon had to stop there. Another engine then took his train. If I didn't stop, he thought, I could go to London. One day he ran right through the station. Another time he tried to stop before the fireman could uncouple the coaches. He tried all sorts of tricks, but it was no good. "Oh dear," he thought sadly, "I'll never get there." One day he pulled the express to the station as usual. His fireman uncoupled the coaches and he ran onto his siding to wait till it was time to go home. The coaches waited and waited at the platform, but their engine didn't come. A porter ran across and spoke to Gordon's driver. "The inspector's on the platform. He wants to see you." The driver climbed down from the cab and walked over the station. He came back in a few minutes looking excited. "Hello," said the fireman. "What's happened?" "The engine for the express turned over when it was coming out of the yard. Nothing else can come in or out. They want us to take the train to London. I said we would if the Fat Controller agreed, and he said we could do it. How's that?" "Fine," said the fireman. "We'll show them what the Fat Controller's engines can do." "Come on," said Gordon. "Let's go." He rolled quickly over the crossings and backed onto the train. It was only a few minutes before the guard blew his whistle, but Gordon thought it was ages. Come on," he puffed to the coaches. "We're going to town, we're going to town," sang the coaches. Gordon found that London was a long way away. "Never mind," he said. "I like a good long run to stretch my wheels." But all the same, he was glad when London came in sight. The Fat Controller came into his office next morning. "I wonder how Gordon's getting on," he said. The Fat Controller took the newspaper. "Good gracious me," he said. "There's Gordon. Headlines too." The Fat Controller read on, absorbed. Gordon returned next day. The Fat Controller spoke to his driver and fireman. "I see you had a good welcome in London." "We certainly did, sir." "Good," smiled the Fat Controller. "I expect he enjoyed himself, didn't you, Gordon?" "No, sir, I didn't." "Why ever not?" "London's all wrong," answered Gordon sadly. "They've changed it. It isn't King's Cross anymore. It's St. Pancras."